we are currently serving 40,000 farmers, and when in the next 3-4 years we will reach 250,000 farmers in Egypt. Climate change has multiple impacts. One of them, of course, impacting millions of Egyptian farmers is the rising sea level. So we are continuously trying to give a possibility for these students to find themselves, to hear and listen to themselves, and to find out that every one of them is an artist, and every one of them is an entrepreneur, and every one of them has the potential to change the world and impact the future.
Welcome to the 1 Million Years of Joy podcast. I'm Dr. Andrea Benaker, your host, and my intention is to inspire you to find more joy in your life through the stories from our guests and the science on joy and purpose. Helmy, welcome.
Hello, and I'm very, very happy to join you today for this session.
Helmy, I'm super happy that you're one of the 1 Million Years of Joy leadership luminaries, and you've really had a fascinating journey where you've dedicated your life to transforming in a positive way land, lives, and systems by bringing into the reality what you've defined as the economy of love. For the benefit of our listeners, can you tell us more about the economy of love and where it all started?
I'm very happy to share with you this unbelievable story. It is a story which started 48 years ago. And it was my late father, Helmy Abouleish, who started it when he decided in 1977 that he wants to return to Egypt, his home country, from Austria, where we, the family, were living. And this was the start of a big adventure for my mother, my sister, and myself, coming from the Austrian Alps, the green heart of Europe. It's not directly connected to the desert, but we were excited and we were happy to join in, and very quickly fell in love with the country and the people and the challenges and the problems. And so early, since then, since 48 years, I was pretty sure that I would love to stay and connect to our project SEKEM in the desert, to establish a model for real system change, for a new economy, a new agriculture, a new human development model, and a new community development model. And since then, I'm on it. Since then, I'm part of it. The first 40 years together with my father, and since 2017, when he passed away, I'm doing it together with my colleagues from the Future Council, and still enjoy every single day. And I'm very happy to be able to really contribute and reach out to thousands and thousands of people in Egypt, whether they are from the agricultural field or from the education field or consumers or physicians and patients in our medical center and so on. And I feel that we are currently in a great move and a great wave where we could, hopefully within the next few years, reach the critical mass, which I think lies somewhere at 20% or 25% of the overall number of people in the sector, in agriculture in particular. So we are currently serving 40,000 farmers, and when in the next 3-4 years we will reach 250,000 farmers in Egypt, help them to go from conventional farming to biodynamic farming, we will be able then to really cover 20% of Egypt's agriculture. And I think this would then help us to really see the system flip to more regenerative, sustainable, and organic agriculture.
Wonderful. Congratulations for continuing this beautiful, beautiful legacy for so many years. I was curious, given that it's been 48 years since this whole vision started, how has carrying that legacy, and as you were saying, in tandem with your father for many, many years, how has that influence your own life journey over the years?
I mean, I have to say I was lucky that starting in SEKEM in the early 97, 78, 79, 1980s, we had already a quite good working relationship, my father and myself. And then it was not the days of the smartphones and telephones. So me being on our site in the desert, he being more in Cairo in our office. Also, we were not connected every second, so it was once per week or something when we really could exchange. And then very soon after, 4 years later, we switched the roles, and I went to the CEO position, and he went to the visionary and development position. And so I think we found the best possible way of cooperation and found synergies between us, which made it possible that each one of us could really benefit from the experience of each other. And I think we had in this regard a really brotherhood in our work in SEKEM. And from the other side, we could also work as entrepreneurs with enough room and space to take entrepreneurial decisions. And I think this is what made it possible for us to work together for 40 years in a perfect way and create this miracle out of the desert where we could prove that biodynamic farming is capable of reclaiming desert, helping thousands of farmers to convert from conventional to biodynamic farming and then use less water, sequester tons of carbon, handle salinity issues, produce all kinds of crops, and through our economy of love model, sell these biodynamic raw materials in Egypt to 40,000 pharmacies and 55,000 supermarkets. And in the meantime, being the market leader with more than 2,000 people working for our company in herbal teas and many, many other foodstuff from biodynamic raw materials. And I think this is what really is the reason for this miracle, because like this, we were able then to invest into education, schools, medical centers, a university for sustainable development on the basis of a functioning economic model, which was based on transparency and biodynamic agriculture and a real focus on human development, trying to answer for every consumer these four, we believe, most important questions to make educated purchase decision, which are what's the impact of the product on society, what's the impact of the product on the people involved in the supply chain, what's the impact of the product on environment, water, energy, and so on. And last but not least, what's the true price? Because there is a Maya world around us trying to indicate prices to us which are not true, which allow hiding of cost factors and externalizing of costs, and hence giving us the impression that organic and biodynamic products are more expensive than conventional products, which is not the case. So, having said all this, focusing on this economy of love model, we were able to establish our presence in the market with our brands, competing with global companies like Unilever and Nestle and local brands. And I'm very, very happy that then very soon we could also try to tackle this issue of what is the reality of a true price for an organic product. And with our ecosystem service payments, which we have enforced since 2022 now, where we started for the first time to calculate our carbon footprint in our farms. And when we recognized that we are sequestering carbon in our farms, in the soil, in the trees, then we also started to to verify and validate the carbon credits we produce, to issue economy of love carbon credits for our biodynamic farmers and sell them to companies in Egypt mostly who use them to offset their footprints. And with this additional income, we then can ask our biodynamic farmers to sell their biodynamic raw materials in the local market at the same price than the conventional price, and just get through the carbon credits their premium, their additional income, which is then higher than the conventional farmer has, and which enables them to send their kids to school, to improve their livelihoods, their health situation, and provide millions of local consumers with biodynamic products at conventional prices. And ultimately also, if all farmers in Egypt, the 7 million farmers of Egypt, follow the model, we would offset 40-50% of all CO2 emissions of Egypt. And this would be a wonderful contribution to mitigating climate change. So it's a win-win-win in all directions, for consumers, for farmers, and for the environment. And it's funded out of our system and model of economy of love carbon credits, which basically are part of our economy of love whole system carbon credit scheme, which really is trying to differentiate between a biodynamic organic farmer and a conventional farmer who is emitting carbon, CO2 every year, and actually in the end honoring our biodynamic farmer for his ecosystem services and honoring him with ecosystem service payments, but also celebrating him as a climate hero, which is good for his reputation and image and personal confidence. And so we are really happy to see more and more happy farmers all over Egypt now joining us.
I love that. And are you able to share with us some of the products that are currently being cultivated and have been cultivated through the years? And I imagine that there were multiple evolutions, iterations, and experimentations with biodynamic farming. What can you share for our audience that may not necessarily know as much about it? Are there specific crops that are more inclined to be planted versus others? Just to help our audience better understand a little bit the outputs that are then being distributed, as you were mentioning, in the grocery stores for the benefit of the end consumers.
I mean, we have, I think, cultivated all crops available in Egypt, which are hundreds of different crops. But let me give you some categories. Medicinal herbs, herbal teas, we are very, very much focusing on. And there it's anise, fennel, peppermint, spearmint, hibiscus, ginger, cinnamon. And I could go on for 20, 30, 40 more names of herbal teas, which we put into the market as tea bags. We produce nearly 800 million of these tea bags for the local market, and in different formats, different box sizes, different mixtures. We sell them to local consumers, and they really are very happy that there's an alternative to tea and coffee. And more health conscious consumers join now the herbal tea offers. From the other side, of course, in our farms, we have also wheat and barley and all kinds of cereals. We produce a lot of fodder for our animals, for our cows, whether it's soy, corn, or clover. We produce milk, meat, cheese, eggs, and all kinds of animal products. And of course, a lot of vegetables, because our own 2,500 co-workers and the 3,000 students in the university and the 1,000 students in our school. So we have a big community of people who we feed every day with biodynamic products. And we sell all these products also to the supermarkets, whether it's vegetables or meat, whether it's honey or oils, it's juices or dates, spices, and so on and so on. So we have a huge range. You'll find them on our website, in our online shop, and we are very happy that we are now also, I think, available in more than 20 different markets, countries, Europe, US, Asia, even Africa. And it's growing day by day. More people are getting aware that a good biodynamic product is not only um, tastier, but also healthier and better for the environment, and doesn't have to be much more expensive.
And what are some of the challenges that you've seen as a result of the climate change issues that we've had, the increasing temperatures that we're seeing more and more become a huge, huge problem for many farmers? Can you share with us some of the recent impacts that you have seen across the farmers in Egypt?
I mean, climate change has multiple impacts. One of them, of course, impacting millions of Egyptian farmers is the rising sea level, because the rising sea level pushes water, salty water, into our delta. And we have a huge delta, the second biggest in the world after Bangladesh, with millions of people living from agriculture. And when the salt water intrudes these soils, it's getting very difficult for them to get good yields and good productivity. So with organic and biodynamic farming, with living soils, they are more resilient and keep better productivity than many of their neighbors. From the other side, humidity is rising, so we are getting a different crop pattern and we have to adjust. The diseases and the insects are changing every day, so we have to adjust. And a healthy living soil will always produce healthier plants, more resilient plants, better able to adapt to a changing environment. And last but not least, of course, we also see more and more impact on the health of our people, the farmers involved in farming, due to much bigger differences in temperature and humidity and heat and cold and wet and dry. So we are very happy that we are now seeing and starting now also comparative studies proving that farmers who feed themselves from organic and biodynamic raw materials themselves getting more resilient and healthier than farmers who don't have this option.
Fascinating. And you've mentioned the university, and I know you're the chair of the board of trustees of Heliopolis University, which is one of the first universities in the Middle East to put sustainable development at the core of its mission. Could you share with us what has the younger generation at your university taught you about what they most long for in this fast changing world?
I'm very happy to tell you that I'm learning every day from our students here. I am giving some lessons and some sessions to students every semester, so I have a continuous exchange. So I can watch now over the last 13 years what happened to this next generation coming into our university and graduating from our university, going into the job market and so on. And I think there are different messages, of course. One of them is that give us a different education model than the one which is the mainstream one, which is just feeding our heads and knowledge and not our hearts and hands, and not enabling us to find our inner call nor the outer call in the world. Um, this is the one thing, and I'm very happy that we have really shown and continuously show the last 12 years that we are continuously trying to improve the education quality, the environment, the programs through our core program, where nearly 12-13% of the overall credit points and hours of our students dedicated to general artistic, philosophical, and personality building program in all the different faculties. And community-based learning, where all of our students go into the villages to the ultimate community members and see how they can serve them with their knowledge and their skills. or problem-based learning, or skills-based learning, or many, many other things. So we are continuously trying to give a possibility for these students to find themselves, to hear and listen to themselves, and to find out that every one of them is an artist, and every one of them is an entrepreneur, and every one of them has the potential to change the world and impact the future. From the other side, and this is what the Heliopolis University is also committed to, it needs innovation. As much as it needs people to do this thing, it needs really innovation and research, development. And so we have a very strong research focus, a very strong innovation focus, a very strong entrepreneurship and incubation focus, giving really every student from these 3,400 students we have here a chance to develop his own startup, his own business model and idea, supporting him with funding, finance, training, capacity building, and so on. And we believe it needs activists. It needs people who believe that they can shape the future, people who believe that they can really make a meaningful contribution to this much needed system change. And I think we are learning every day, of course, we are improving every day, but I'm happy to see more and more students engaged and happy on this journey.
So beautiful. Really, really inspiring. And I also want to share with our audience that your company, SEKEM, just received the Gulbenkian Prize for Humanity. And when you think of your impressive impact to date, what are your dreams for the future for your organization?
In 2017, when my father passed away, and we came together as the Future Council to ask ourselves exactly this question: what's our dream for the next 40 years? We put down this dream in a document which we call SEKEM's Vision for Egypt 2057, 40 years later. And it was a very bold vision for Egypt, where all farmers apply organic and biodynamic farming, all companies apply principles of circular economy and economy of love, all education institutions unfold potential and believe in lifelong learning, and so on and so on. You find this on our website. It's something which is since then really very much the focus of everything we do. How can we contribute to system change in Egypt? How can we impact people in our society? How can we inspire people in our society, whether they are farmers, teachers, entrepreneurs, physicians? And what I dream about, what we dream about here in SEKEM, is to see Egypt moving into this direction. We have painted as a leading image for an Egypt in 2057 where people live, work, and learn together in peace and in harmony and with integrity and respecting the other opinions and respecting and celebrating diversity in nature and in society.
Do you have kids, and are your kids going to be involved in the future realization of the mission?
I'm a very lucky husband and father of 4 girls. My oldest is 40 and my youngest 31, will be 32 this year. And I have 5 grandchildren, and hopefully more to come. And I'm very happy that my daughters and their husbands and many other kids from the SEKEM community are also involved in the future of SEKEM. But early on, and this was directly after my father passed away, we have donated the company from the family to a charitable foundation. So basically, the motivation for my kids will not be their ownership, but they hopefully will, as myself, be very happy to contribute for happiness and a meaningful impact they can have.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. And since we're talking about happiness and joy, and if there would be a recipe for living more joyfully, what would be the three main ingredients in your view?
As I said before, to find your outer core, which for me equals having a vision which really compels me to move towards it. Find your inner core, which means listen to yourself and see what and how you want to contribute to a purposeful life. And then ultimately having the courage to do it and not to speak about it only. And I think this is what makes the difference in SEKEM, that we have all these three elements. We have a strong vision. We search for people who are self-motivated and do it out of love. And last not least, we have the courage to move on issues where we do not know the outcome, where nobody knows the outcome, and believe that our next step will teach us and our feet can be more intelligent than our heads.
Wonderful. And if you could plant one seed in the heart of every listener today, what would that seed be?
Love for the world, for the people, and for yourself.
Beautiful. Any final words of wisdom that you may wish to share with our audience to inspire them to either become more conscious consumers or really find the power to pursue their dreams, their creativity, their entrepreneurship, or anything that really connects to everything we've spoken about and joy?
I would like to just tell those who listen to this that even if the world sometimes looks very challenging and the problems look manifold, they are all man-made. And whereas we did this contribution to the challenges, the problems, we have also the possibility to find the solutions and to contribute to a different world, a different future. And so what I just would like to highlight is that every one of us should believe that the world outside looks as I shape it, and that it's me who can do a contribution and can make an impact. And it's important that I take this responsibility. And for us here in the Islamic world, it's part of our religious belief to be the trustee of the earth from Allah, and hence every one of us wants to be the Khalifat Allah al-Ard.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Helmy. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you today. I wish you continued success in all your ventures. It's just so inspiring to see everything that you're doing.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to an ever-growing community of people in this network, because only together we can do it.
I fully agree. Thank you.